Okay. On Tuesday, we already learned about the GCD function. You still remember GCD? The greatest common divisor. Okay. And we learn how to make a function, and we call from other function. We call from another file. And we also learn how to make function for the prime number. Now there's a more complex problem. How we can convert decimals to hexadecimals. What is hexadecimal? So you need to write a function to convert a decimal to, this is a decimal integer, to a hexadecimal. So the hexadecimal means it is a digit means number. It is successfully dividing the digit by 16 until the quotient is 0. So we will calculate the remainder value. The remainder will be from h0, h1 until hn. And the hexadecimal digits include decimal from 0 until 9. And then if the remainder is 10, we will replace it with the letter A. If the remainder is 10, we will replace it with A. If it is 11, we will replace it with B. If the remainder is 12, we will replace it with C. If it is 13, we will replace it with D. If it is 14, we will replace it with E. And the last one is 15. We will replace it with F. So for example, we have this decimal number is 123, 123. Because the hexadecimal means 16, we will divide 123 with 16. 123 divided by 16. Then we will have 7. It is the quotient or the number to multiply with 16. There will be a number like 112. And the remainder is 11. So the quotient is the number to represent the first answer. And then the remainder, 11, we will check 11 is B. So the result will be 7B. So the quotient is the number itself, and then B is the remainder value, because the remainder value is 11, so we assign B. And if you have any other values, you need to do the same thing. There's a file that I shared to you. You can use the decimal to decimal to hexadecimal. So there are 3 functions. The first function is to change from decimal to hex. And if we get the remaining values, so we will check what is the character of that remaining value. So this toHexchar is a function that we will call in this decimal to hex. So first, let's see. If decimal value not equal to 0, then we will check the hex value or the remaining value. The remaining value after we divide by 16, so we need to check what is the remaining value. And the remaining value will be changed to a character. So what is the character? The character is in this function. So if it is 0 until 9, then yeah, we will just put the character as that value. But if it is not, then we will have the character value and it will be started from A. So if the value is like 11, so 11 minus 10, it will be 1. And then order, this one is to indicate what is the order, and the order it is from A. Then if it is 11, 11 minus 10 is 1, 1 plus the order, then it is after A. One character after A, it is B. So this one is the order starting from 0. So if the number is 6, then we will have the hex value plus the order from 0, means we have 0, if it is 6, then yeah, start from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sorry, 6, because it is starting from 0. Then this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, this is 5, and this is 6. So we can input the value. What is the value? And then after we have the value, we will call the function decimal to hex. We can try if it is 1, 2, 3. Okay. Then the hex number for decimal 1, 2, 3 is 10. When we learn about the functions, we need to understand the scope. The scope of the variables. The scope means the part of the program where the variable can be referenced. A variable created inside, if it is inside the function, we call it local variable. So local variables can only be accessed inside the function. The scope of local variables starts from its creation and continues to the end of the function that contains the variable. Instead of the local variable, in Python, you can use global variable. So we have local and we have global. So global variable means the variables that you can use all functions. So outside all functions, and it is accessible to all functions in their scope. So let's see. Let me run this. I have global variable. Okay. I define the global variable equals to 1. So I have function f1, and inside of this function, I have a local variable. This local variable equals to 2. Now I can print the global variable. The global variable is the variable outside the function. The local variable is the variable inside the function. This is inside f1. This one is outside. Then whenever we have a new function, let's say I have another function, def f2. So I can do something about the global variable. So I can call the global variable. But the local variable, it is only valid in this function. So if I want to call print local variable, is it possible? No. You can see from the error message. The error message said that it is unresolved reference. So we have no reference. So the same with this one. Print local variable, it is error. Why? Because the local variable only defined in this function. So we cannot use this local variable because this local variable only used in this function. That's the meaning by local. We call this is the local variable. Maybe the precise one is this is local variable, and this is the global variable. Okay. Now I have this function. Can we do with this one? We have x equals to 1, we have x equal to 2. So x has been defined 2 times. Is it possible? If you look at the code, yeah, no errors. But what is the result from this first? Because it is inside the function, then it will be depending on the value inside the function. But what about the other, print x? This print x only can access the global variable. So this x will display 1, but this x will display 2. So you will see the first x will be 2 and the next will be 1. Okay. Now, what about this? I have x and then I would like to check if x is greater than 0. So I would like to make y equals to 4. And after I define y equals to 4, I want to print y. Is it possible? This is not possible. Even though there is no error, but when you run, enter a number, okay, no errors at the first time. Oh, you can get it. If you run this, if you run with -5, then error. So if you give the correct condition, or if the condition is true, then it will give the value, this one, and the value will be here. So this is not defining as the local and global variable. Okay. This is the variable because it is just a variable not in the function. What about this? Is it working or is it an error? I have the sum equals to 0, and then for I in range 0 until 5. And then sum will be equal to I plus sum. So I will print I. What is the answer? Is it working or is it not working? It is. Okay. We have the I defined at the first time, and it will be from 0, 1, 2, 3, until 4. So the last value of I is 4. And then we want to print I. So in this case, this is also not a local or global variables. So this is just a variable to follow the sequence. What about this? We have x1, x equals to 1, and then I have a function increase. I have one statement, global x. And then I have x equals to x plus 1. So the value of x, that is 1, will be here, and then x will be added by 1, so it becomes 2. We call the function increase, and then we will print x at the end. So what will be the value? The global x means we want to make the x variable, the variable x, as a global. In this case, this x will be the same value with this x. So this x will be 1, and we are going to add 1 with 1. So the new x will be 2. Okay, so we will print 2 and we will print 2. Because of the global statement, so the x now becomes the same value with the global variable. So this is the global variable. Okay, so yeah, there will be many other examples. So those kind of problems will be in the exam. You need to check what will be the result. Is there any error, or is it working, and etc. We have the default arguments. In Python, allows you to define function with default argument values. Default means, yeah, if you don't give any argument, then Python will give their own value. Or you can specify the value, so the user do not need to consider the value. The default value are passed to the parameters when the function is invoked without the arguments. We have the default value, default argument demo. Default argument demo. This one. I make a function. I want to print the area, and I specify width equals to 1. and I specify height equals to 2. It means the default value here is 1 and the default value here is 2. The function will multiply width and height, so we have the area. Area will multiply by height. If I do the print area, is it working? Yes, because we already specified if there is no parameter, then the width will be 1 and the height will be 2. But if I want to specify print area 4,2.5, then 4 will be the width and 2.5 will be the height. And you already know if we change the position. If we change the position means height will be still in the height and then width will be still in the width as long as you define the argument. Okay. Or you want to specify only the width. What is the height? The height will be the default value. Or I want to specify only the height. Then what's the width? The width will be the default value. Okay. So you can see here, for the first statement, print area, width equals to 1, height equals to 2. So whenever I didn't specify the parameter, then it will give you the default value. If I specify the parameter 4,2.5, then it will show according to the information on the parameter. If I specify the parameter with the keyword argument height and width, so it will change according to this keyword argument. The print area width means the width will be 1.2, but the height will be the default value. If I specify height equals to 6.2, then the height will be 6.2 and the width will be 1. Okay. So this is the rule in Python when you have those kind of parameters. Python allows a function to return multiple values. So until now, you learn only one values. So how if Python return multiple values? Multiple means many values, not only one value. So let's see the multiple return value theme. Multiple return value theme. So I have a function, and this function is to sort numbers. The first parameter is number 1 and the second parameter is number 2. So if number 1 less than number 2, then I would like to return two values. Two values here. The first number will be number 1 and the second number will be number 2. Otherwise, so if it is true, then you will do this one. If it is false, you will do this one. Number 2 will be first and then next number 1. So I can do n1. I have n1 comma n2. Why? Why I have n1 and n2? because the return function will give you two values. That's it. Can I give entry? Is it possible? Entry. No errors, but when you run, there will be errors because the function will give you only two numbers. So that this entry will not be available. Now let me change this to something bigger. 15 and 2. So 15 will be number 1 and 2 will be number 2. So if 15 is less than 2, it is not correct, it's false. So number 2 will be first and then number 1. So number 2 is 2 and then 15. Because we have two values and we want to put it into one line, into one statement. There is another example. We can use function to generate random characters. What does it mean by random characters? Do you know characters? Yeah, A, B, C, D, E, and so on. Okay. So I want to generate any characters randomly. You can check on the random characters. So we have a random integer. So in the this ORT means we want to make some kind of character from what we get from the number. So we want to get random character CH1, CH2. It means I would like to make any random character from, let's say, if I start from A and then I ended Z. So any character from A until Z, it will be randomly generated. Now I would like to return it CHR. So CHR means the character. And this is the random integer. So randomly generated from this ORT CH1 and ORT CH2. So you can generate the random lowercase letter. Because the character, it can be lowercase, like A, B, C, D, like this. Or it can be uppercase, A, B, C, D, and so on. So we call this is lowercase. We call this is uppercase. So if I want to generate a lowercase, so the random character will be from A until Z. So I will call this random character. It will be from A until Z. So I will make any random from A until Z. So I want to get the number. I want to get the number of A. I want to get the number of Z. And then I will make it random and then I will generate a character. I can also make a random uppercase letter. Random uppercase letter means, the uppercase. So A from Z. Or I can make random digit character. Random digit character means I want to make a character from 0 until 9, but the character, it is a form of string. So string will be quoted, either single quote or double quote. So I can test the random character. I can call the random character. What is the meaning by this import random character? Here I want to call the function random character. I want to call the file random character, and I want to do something according to the function in this file. So I have a variable number of characters. So I want to generate 175, and I want to specify the characters per line is 21. Let me do loop. So the loop will be from I until the number of characters. The number of characters is 175. And okay, you can see here, I call the random character. So the random character here, I would like to call the get random lowercase letter. So in this case, I would like to call the function, or sorry, the Python file. The Python file is his one, and then it contains several functions. And then in this case, I would like to use the get random lowercase letter. So if you press the control, then you will get this one. So I want to get random lowercase letter, and let's print it in the same line. If I plus 1 divided, or the remainder modulo charge per line equal to 0, then let's go to the next one. Okay, you can try. So this is the random character. Usually we can do like this one for making an ID in the web or token. Okay. Maybe if you want to see the different character, you can make space like this. So you will see, yeah, this is the random character generated using the function that you have. Okay. There is another way to deal with the function. We call it the function abstraction. The function abstraction means you can think the function body as a black box. So the body, I do not know what is inside the body. So the body can contain detailed implementation of the function, but yeah, it is not determined. So I can have the function header with optional for the input and optional for the return value. So why we need to have this function abstraction? So we will learn later about the object oriented. Okay? So this is one of the benefit of the using function. Okay? So you can write the function once and you can reuse it anywhere. And it is related with the information hiding. So you can hide the information and you can hide the implementation. And it reduces the complexity when you create the program. Maybe it is more conceptual. Okay, we call this is the stepwise refinement. Stepwise refinement means when we make the function abstraction, you can apply when you make your program. So when you do the team project, I guess you can start from now to do the team project. Maybe with one. There's one example. Okay. This example is about the calendar example. When you look into this calendar example, maybe it will be very tough for you to see because this function is very long. Okay. This function is very long. So first, what you need to do, if you do the team project, it will be a good practice if you make the skeleton. What is the skeleton? So you need to know what is your program. Let's say I want to make a calendar. So in the calendar, you know that there will be month. And I know that there will be the month title. I know that there will be month body. And I want to get the month. I want to get the start day for every month. And then I will check the total number of the days. For example, yeah, January we have 31. February we have 20. But sometimes February we have 29. So every month will have different day. So I would like to mention also the number of days in month. So it is the more specific. And I want to calculate whether it is a leap year or not. So if you have this skeleton at the first time, yeah, you can define the calendar. First, I can make the main function. So I will get the input from the user, and then I can print only the month. But inside the month, there will be the title. What is the month? January, February, or something. And then also the body. So I need to get the month for the month title. And then for the body, I need to get the start date. The 1st January, what is the date? So I need to check that now. And then I need to check how many days in that month. So I need to check the number of days and I need to determine the starting date. And then finally, I will check whether it is a leap year or not. So if you have this skeleton, then yeah, you can implement your project like the print calendar skeleton. Okay. So you can take a look on this skeleton. In the skeleton, there are function name that is similar with the print calendar. But in the skeleton, it is only just the abstraction. When you go to the print calendar, you will see the implementation. What is the implementation of each of it? So if you run this, enter a full year, let's say 2023. Enter month, so I say 1. So this is the January 2023 and the day will be like this. Okay. Okay, I will stop here because of